About 4 or 5 years ago, I realised how tired I was of fear being the reason I didn't do things I wanted to do. Knowing that I wasn't reaching my full potential and I wasn't even trying to because I was scared of so many things, failure and judgment being the two biggest things. So I embarked on a journey to fear less for 1 year. And about 4 years or so later, I'm still here. Well, sort of. I believed and still do that no one is completely fearless, but I can fear less by setting myself challenges one at a time, and sometimes even the same challenge more than once or even twice, however many times it takes to make it stick. I've learned that with most fears, the challenges can't just be a one-time thing. It needs to be a conscious effort to do continuously until it turns into a habit and then a lifestyle. That's the only way it has true impact, for me at least. I invited all you lovely people to join me on my journey, the highs and the lows. And in all the years on and off YouTube, I felt the fear and done it anyway. From making the first move, going to the cinema by myself, shaved off my hair, and jumping out of a plane, and everything in between. I've grown so much in the process, and a lot of you guys have been inspired to fear less during the Fly 30 challenge I set every year. And you guys have faced your own fears, from rocking your natural hair in the corporate world to quitting jobs and starting your own companies. Believe me when I say, more than anything, it's been incredible to see, and you guys have inspired me even more. So why did I stop, and where have I been? I get asked that question all the time. I didn't actually stop. I've been living fearlessly off YouTube. Mainly on the gram, but mostly in real life. This was never for YouTube. This is my life, and YouTube was a way to document my journey and hold myself accountable regardless of who was watching. The reason I stopped doing YouTube videos mainly was because I got messages from people with success stories, which of course was incredible. However, with those success stories came people seeking advice and guidance for their own fly journey. And I got in my own head. I love helping people, and I'm an obliger. If you don't know what an obliger is, make sure you read The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. It's an amazing, amazing book. I figured out I'm an obliger. At that time, I didn't know I had to, or even how to, separate other people's wants and needs from my own. And because I didn't know my why, my motivation slowly slipped from being fearless for my own development first, and if I inspired other people, then it was a bonus, to feeling obliged to create for other people first and myself as a bonus. I didn't want to be selfish, but I also had no idea how to create content for the development of other people. I was barely figuring it out for myself. My thoughts became so driven to try and help other people that I concluded people wouldn't care anymore if what I did didn't help them too. And that invisible, self-inflicted pressure became so much, too much, and ultimately paralyzing. The more time passed, the more the thought of going back to creating YouTube videos ironically became a fear. Fear of looking and being inconsistent, fear of looking lost. On top of that, I started focusing on the numbers of views and comparing myself to other channels and my lack of success by those standards. But at that time, I had forgotten my initial goal, so I was looking at it from a completely wrong perspective. I was still being fearless in real life, but my accountability, YouTube, had been missing for a few years. So I wasn't facing my fears nearly as much as before. My fear was slowly taking over again. So I tried to start again with this video, but the idea wasn't authentic. It wasn't exactly for me, so I didn't even do it. Fast forward to May the 11th, 2019, when I went on a walk to clear my head because I'd been editing for 3 days straight. I'm a photographer, by the way. I bumped into this gentleman who had just finished playing tennis. He mentioned a lack of women on the team and how women don't seem to want to play tennis. I don't know if that's true or not. But he asked if I was up for it. My first thought was, ooh, this sounds like fun. I don't want to get fit, but I don't know how to play tennis and I don't want to embarrass myself. So I said to him, I don't know how to play tennis. And he said, that's okay, I'll teach you. That very moment, my fly habit kicked in. And before I knew it, I was saying yes. And I had my first session the 12th of May, the very next day. Long story short, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. By the following day, the 13th of May, I was in a cast with crutches for the first time in my life. That was the best thing to ever have happened to me. It brought me right back to where I needed to be mentally, and it reminded me of two grounding factors. First and foremost, this thing called life, and ultimately this channel, is about me being the best me I can be. And as selfish as that sounds, how I see it is, how can I do anything for anyone if I can't do for myself? And knowing full well what I'm capable of, even on one leg, I'll be damned if I look back at my life in 5 years, 10 years, and say I didn't do X, Y, Z, or I didn't achieve A, B, C because of imagined expectations. Nope, no, thank you. Regret is my biggest motivation. And two, in my experience, when you stop, and I mean actually stop, like the decision before the action, or lack thereof the action, that's the moment when fear creeps back in. It's slow and it's familiar, so you don't notice it at first, but it makes its way back into your mind, and before you know it, fear is making all your decisions again. The great thing is, the flip side. The more you do something, anything, it doesn't have to be big, but it has to be consistent. The more familiar and the less scary it becomes, and in turn, the more confident you become, not only in what you're doing, but also being able to try new things that are seemingly scary. So in short, to fear less, do more. That's my slogan, but it's so true. So now I'm in a new phase of my life and my fearless journey. They say 33 is a significant age, and it has been for me so far. But what would it be without me inviting you guys to join me again? You might discover something helpful or enlightening, but also you might not. All I know is, whether you watch or not, I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. If it takes me another 300 tries to be consistent, I will have a catalogue of videos that I can look back on to remind myself what I'm capable of, regardless of my fears. I will have that for myself. And if someone is inspired along the way, that is a bonus. With all that being said, welcome to my fearless years. Passion, perseverance, and progression. Oh yeah, and to fear less, do more consistently. Peace.